Hi, welcome back to the next video. Yes, it's still really me, but I'm looking a little bit more au natural today because this video is all about foundation striping and matching, helping your client to figure out which is the right formula foundation for her, what is going to be the best thing that she's going to prefer. I'm going to teach you how to actually stripe test on my own face, and then I'm also going to show you how to choose the right color of mineral powder foundation. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, once you get to this foundation section, I have found over these last 6 months, especially since the company just introduced our new Time-Wise liquid foundation, age-fighting liquid foundation, it's phenomenal. But what I found is that if you help a client find her proper shade of foundation and also the right formula and teach her the correct application technique, you will have a very, very loyal client for life. So that's the goal, is to just really help your client find exactly what's going to work for her. In the previous years, my favorite foundation was always mineral powder foundation, and I just really encouraged everybody to try it. Well, some people just didn't like it, and so then we'd try other things, and well, I just was never as excited about other options as I am about the new liquid foundation. So the new liquid foundation is phenomenal, and I'm gonna show you how to stripe test. But what I always ask my client is, would you prefer a foundation that's gonna give you maximum coverage to hide everything and make your face look perfectly flawless? Or is it more important to you to have the sheerest, lightest, feel like nothing is on your face kind of a feel? And usually that's going to tell you, because, or you can ask, do you prefer liquid or mineral powder? If they know, then go with whatever they choose. But otherwise, if they say they want the sheerest, lightest feel, or a very simple, they're kind of a very natural girl kind of a girl, then I'm going to encourage her to try the mineral powder foundation. If she wants maximum coverage, she really wants her face to look flawless, then I'm going to encourage her to do liquid, and then maybe even the mineral powder over the top, because that's what I do when I really want to look my very, very best. So these are labels on my foundations. Now on the others, you can see like at the top, the company label is there. It says Ivory 3 and there's a pink stripe across it. But then in addition to that, I have these address labels on there that say like Ivory 3P. The P stands for that this foundation has a little bit of a pink undertone. The Ivory 5, 4, and 5 say why. Those have a little bit of a yellow undertone. So that's going to help me to determine what sort of a foundation is going to work best for her based on the undertone of her skin. And the way you determine what a person's undertone is just ask them. If you go out in the sun without sunscreen, are you typically going to burn, or would you tan? If they say they're going to tan, then their foundation is probably going to be a little bit of a yellow undertone. So you want to try to, like, if a person says they tan, then you want to try the Ivory 4 and the Ivory 5, because they both have a Y, they're a yellow undertone. If they're light like I am, you try a 4 or 5, and one of those will probably work. If they say that they burn all the time, then you might try the Ivory 3, 6, or 7, because those have a pink undertone. And the idea when you stripe it on, and you'll see it on my face, is that the one that just disappears when it gets into the jawline is the one that is the best color for her. So with that being said, oh, and then you also want to determine the formula. The pink formulas are the luminous coverage. Those are for people with a little bit drier skin type, and it's going to give a little bit of a luminous glow to their skin. It looks absolutely radiant. It's beautiful. And then the foundations that are purple, the purple stripe, these are a matte wear. This is actually what I wear because it's for somebody that has a little bit of an oilier skin type, and it gives a nice matte finish, and it helps to absorb the excess oils throughout the day. So when I determine a person, I look at them and I think, okay, she's probably an Ivory, and she says she tans all the time, so she's probably going to be like an Ivory 4 or 5. I put those dots, I put some samples on the tray. Do you see? They're probably going to run here, right here at the top. Do you see the three? I've got 3 different dots of foundation, and I always put them in order because I forget from the minute I put them down there, like, now which one was which? So I put the lowest number here. So this is Ivory 4 and Ivory 5. And then I also put Ivory 6 there just so you can see what the wrong undertone looks like clearly. Then you want to get one of these things. It's a cosmetic sponge. You get it from like the dollar store. You can get a package of those. And you're going to just dip the corner of the cosmetic sponge in the first color. So you get about this much on there. And then I'm actually striping this on the client's face. then you do the lightest color closest to the chin and you work back with the darker colors. So then you just stripe for the middle of the cheek and you go all the way across the jawline, all the way down. And then you just put a stripe there. Now you can see when I put that on that it's a little bit light. And then as it dries, it's going to dry a little bit darker. But I'm going to go ahead and stripe that. That was ivory 4. And I'm going to put ivory 5 right next to that. Just a little bit back farther. Stripe it right across. And you see how now I can still see the ivory 4 that it still looks a little bit light. And then the ivory 5 is just kind of fading. And you can always kind of tell if you look from the jawline, from the cheek all the way down. You want to look down lower a little bit to see, you know, what's it looking like on the throat area. The color that's showing up down low is not the right color. You want it to just fade and to disappear completely into the skin. So then just so you can kind of see the difference, because those are both pretty close, we're going to do an ivory 6 so you can see it's just not right. You stripe that one and you see how it's just it looks a little bit light. It's kind of washing me out. I thought that was my color for about 2 or 3 weeks, and every time I put it on, I'd look in the mirror and I'd think, something's not right about that. I just don't know what it is, but something's just not right. I'm going to pull the light over so you can see a little bit. I don't know if that's working. I don't think that's helping at all. It's probably getting just too washed out. But if you can, maybe you can kind of see the front color still looks light. The back one looks a little bit off, and the middle color has completely disappeared. So that's obviously the correct shade. So that's ivory 5. And then when I put that on, when I put it on like in my bathroom, when I teach my clients to do it, I actually use the back of my hand and I just squirt a little bit of that foundation right there on the back of your hand. And that's about enough. A little bit goes a long ways. You don't need a lot. It's super, super concentrated. And then show them how to use their liquid foundation brush. Remember I mentioned in an earlier video that a product that's demonstrated with a brush is sold with a brush. So you definitely want to get those brush sales. It really adds a lot. If you sell, you know, a couple brushes at a party, I usually sell somewhere between 5 and 6 brushes. That's another $50 to $60 in sales every single time I do a party. So you definitely want to get those brush sales in there. And then you can get brush cleaner from Sally's Beauty Supply. This is a Hostess mirror that we used to be able to get. I'm not sure if it's on section 2 or not, but if it is, this was a Mary Kay makeup mirror, and I love working with it. Okay, so when I'm going to work with this then to put this on, you actually take your brush and put, now at a party, you're going to just like show them to just dab it from the tray onto their brush, obviously. This is about the amount that you want to start with. If you start with too much, you're just going to have a mess all over. So then when you put it on, you just start painting and brush it on and smooth it, smooth it, smooth it. Keep blending that until it just gives a nice, perfect look. It takes a little bit initially when you first start using a brush to kind of get the technique, to understand how much to use and how little to use. But every single person that I've done with this brush, they have loved it. They've honestly loved it. The people that, like in my very first parties that I did when we came out with a new liquid foundation and the brushes, the very first clients that I had that came in and tested the products, they were somewhat ambivalent about it, but that was partly because I didn't know how to teach them how to put it on properly. So as soon as I figured out that you got to dampen the bristles of the brush just ever so slightly, and then not so much of the foundation will be soaked up into the brush, that makes a huge, huge difference in the application. So now look at this. Do you see the difference? I have it on this side, obviously not this side, but I mean, it's like a facelift instantly just putting on a foundation. I so love this product. So that's your liquid foundation demonstration. I'm going to set this one to record or to process and upload, and then I'll be back in a bit and I'll show you how to match up, and I'll finish my foundation obviously, and then I'll be back in a bit and I'll show you how to do the powder foundation.